Yanisheng you are, and welcome back. This is another demonstration of my General's Command & Conquer General Zero Hour modding program tool. As you can see, it is now officially called the Zero Hour Modding Studio. That is the voted upon title. So this is the release candidate 2. Does release candidate 2 mean anything? No, not really, but I figured I needed to call it something so I can keep track of my progress. I am probably going to be releasing it on Mod Database pretty soon. Again, if you want to try this out, feel free to join Discord. The link is in the description below, but also I will give you a little hint. There you go. And anyway, let's go check it out. Wait, did I do it yet? Well, anyway, Yanisheng you are, and this is how you use my program. So, when you download your program, you're going to look something like this. This is not exactly what it's going to look like yet. I'm still working on the translations. If once you make your backup files, you'll get a backup folder, but don't worry about it. But anyway, you should have this file, and this file too. As you might be recognizing that file right there. But these will actually be important. So this is actually how you'll know you'll have a for sure legit copy of my program in the future in all iterations, because you'll have some files. But anyway, you'll open it up, and it should open up. There you go. And additionally, upon opening up, you'll get this little pop-up. This is my new addition. This is my onboarding actual little guide. So, let's go down it. And as you can see on the top left, General Zero Hour Modding Studio Discord Release Candidate 2. But anyway, let's go to the Getting Started Wizard. Ooh, what do we have here? Welcome to Zero Hour Modding Studio. I'm Yanisheng you are, and in this wizard, let's set it up. This quick setup will get you fully configured in a few steps. Edit INI files, build objects, manage big archives, and more. You'll need your Command & Conquer General Zero Hour game directory. You can skip this setup anytime and configure manually. Always back up your game files before modding. Question time. Do you know where your game is installed? Yeah, let's go. First, we need to find your directory. So we need to locate your directory. So common locations to find your game's directory, especially on Windows 10 and Windows 11. So this would actually be Windows 7 Plus to be exact. You can find it in Program Files x86 EA Games, for example. I have First Decade, so you might find it in EA Games Command & Conquer First Decade. If you have the Steam library, you right-click on the Steam library game and hit Manage and Browse Local Files. Similarly with Origin and EA App. Is Origin even functional anymore, or EA App? Is it even the same name? I don't know. Anyway, it's My Library, Properties, Local Files, similar thing. But anyway, once you find that and you set it up, alright, so once you find your directory, it will hit it in there to load it up. See, as you can see, I found my directory at X30, X86 EA Games Command & Conquer, because I actually have First Decade installed version of the game. And again, this is only 7 steps, so it's not that hard, and honestly, you just go slow, take your time, just hit next. And this is not every time, this is just the first time. And so next we need to open up some .big archives. And again, this is only This is only new. You don't have to do this every time. If you've already have, essentially, as you can see here, we need the INI zerohour.big and the English zerohour.big. So with this part of the steps is telling you, you need to go to the INI editor and open up the archive so you can extract it. You need to extract these two .big files, okay? So what you can do is you go to open.big, and since you already open up your archive, yeah, your directory here, and then you'll go down and see INI 0 hour and English 0 hour. You will go see right here. You hit INI 0 hour. It's loaded, and you can see it's loaded right there. And then go to get it to again, and we need the English, and this is the English, and it's loaded, and as you can see it's loaded on the top right there. Then you hit next, and now you're going to extract the game files. Now extract the INI and English content to your desktop, then move them to your games directory. Remember your games directory from the first step? Yeah, exactly. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over to here, and you're going to right click, see where it says extract all files? You're going to go to the same thing for that, see how it says extract all files? And you're going to hit extract all files, and it's going to go to your desktop. So it's going to save it as desktop/ini 0 hour/data to be exact. And then you're going to move both data folders into your games directory. So that's that x86/EA games or the Steam library one or whatever. And then we are going to go to our next step. Step 5, we're going to load in our INI folder. Point the INI editor in the game. Wait, what? Huh. Okay, apparently I need to fix some grammar. Step 5, and my apologies for the grammar here. I've been working on translation stuff, so load in the INI folder. The INI editor to your game's INI folder so you can browse and edit the files directly. Click Open INI folder in the INI editor and navigate to the game folder/data/INI. The file in the tree will with all your INI files. So if you click Open INI folder, you can also go to the bottom left too, but if you want to keep in with the wizard, just go to Open INI file, and since you've already have your directory loaded, you go to Data, because you extracted this and your data folders are already in here. You open up your INI folder, you hit select it, you see how it populated there, and look, it gave you a little thing, bam. Next step, step 6, load your data folder. This unlocks all of the playground drops. In fact, this will actually give you 100% functionality for the program. So you're going to load your data folder. And this is just giving you a little warning to show you what your data folder is. This is actually a redundancy from my earlier modding this. It's just giving you a warning to show you what it should look like. So you should be 0 hour/data. This is what contains the folders. So as you see, it has data up there. It should contain all the folders, audio, cursors, editor, English, INI, movies, scripts, waterplane. It should contain all those folders. And then we're going to add that. Alright, you see it's loaded, and it went down there. And then we're going to hit next. And you're all set. Woohoo! Congratulations! The tool is now fully configured. Here's a quick reminder of the workflow. The INI editor, browse and edit files directory. Playground, generates sciences, upgrades, command buttons, and more. Object workshop, clone and build unit objects. Big viewer, browse.big, gib, and CTR archives. Check out the guide tab for advice. And remember, always back up before making changes. Never when you start, always before you start. And, of course, good luck, Commander. And click finished. Bam, right? Just that easy. Alright, and as you saw, we just finished the onboarding process, and now the program is completely configured. And if you ever want to do the onboarding process again, you can just go to Guides, go to Getting Started Guide, and it'll just pop it right back up. And again, at any time, you can just go through and hit next. You actually don't need to complete any of the steps at all. You don't have to. You can just go through it like I just did. You just hit skip startup. It does not matter. It's okay. So as you can see, there are some updates from release candidate 1 for my Discord test with some feedback and some tinkering around and learning a thing or two. I have added a few little baby things. So as before, the top section right here, this is your INI file for your project. This is your data folder for your game directory. So it's the same project folder, it's just that this is one step up. So as you can see, this is the INI folder. So this is the same data folder that you would get there. See, it's the same thing. And as you can see, no neither one takes precedence over the other. However, you cannot edit the bottom one. The bottom one is only for reference only. However, my favorite thing about this is you can actually have the reference going side by side. So if you were, say for example, wanted to make references, for example, the command buttons, and wanted to add something to the command sets, you could, go back and forth, and, so you can just have both files open to go back and forth, for example. And as you can see down here, I have a TGA mode because you can go to the English 0hour.big and actually just view the textures. Just straight up, These are only the TGA files. These are not the DDS files. So these will not be the textures for the tanks. Apparently that's a different type of codec. I'm not sure if that's compatible. I actually didn't just try it. I got lucky. Additionally, on the bottom right, I have these 3 new buttons right here. These is the mod machine, which is just a mod manager for your project. This is also Danger, and this is WND. So let's start with mod machine. When you click that one, this will bring up this little baby right here, and essentially it's to help you, guide you in your new project. So if we hit new project, and let's call it test video, and we'll hit create project, and this will clone the data folder, and now you have the INI files, and you have the cloned textures. Obviously don't do that because you can do that, but as you can see right here, you can have a modding space down here. And yes, this is a modding space. You can edit everything right there. Just like that. And that was Control Z. And of course, you have all these additional projects down here. Like you can package it. Again, this is how I designed this so you can create your mod. And so, for example, let's go back one. So as you can see down here, you can open the game directory, open the project directory. The project directory is the program that you're using right now. That folder that it's in, that's where this project will be saved. So the game directory is obviously your game, where the games directory is. And so down here, as you can see, I have add art folders and add audio folders. So if you click add audio folders, that will actually add an audio folder, including all the folders for that. And then additionally, if you hit art, I don't know why I closed it all the way, but if you click art, that actually puts both of them there, but you already did, that was already there. And then package it as a .big is exactly what it sounds like. It means that when you're done doing all your editing, you can just quickly package it up, and now you have a .big file. I wasn't joking. You now have a .big file. Don't take my word for it. Take out the output for it. You now have a .big file that you created with just a click. And all because you named your project test video .big. Well, technically just test video. Additionally, down here at the bottom, I have my modding manual. It is currently a little messed up, but it was only a test. But that's what this bar right here is up there about. I probably in the future I'm going to make this probably modifiable so you can make this smaller. But it's supposed to be a modding manual, so if you have a little trouble, You can just go down and like, oh, I'm having some, I don't know, how do I debug my mod real fast? It's like, oh, okay, so I need to work in a world builder, you know, stuff like that. And that's pretty much all she wrote right there. And then you have next to it is danger. I still need to work on this a little bit. It's still a little bit in alpha. This is from an earlier design. So essentially, you load your INI folder. This is a pop-up that I have because it is very dangerous. It's very easy to make mistakes in this game. But this will make a backup of your INI files, so it's okay. So essentially, allowing you to edit your INI folders. And not just the folders, but obviously the INI files in there. But buy the folder first, so the INI folder, or the map images, or the object folder. And then you can just choose which one you want to edit, and you'll get the actual individual inputs that you click, and they will pop up from there. So for example, as you can see that way, but let's go with something specific. So if we go to command set, you can see all the command sets are already there. So you want to go to what specific one instead of having to go all the way down or control F, just scroll all the way down to the bottom. Look, you got a little bar, you can go all the way down. Or you go by the command button itself. Similar idea. And then obviously if you want to add your, you know, your specific icons or cameos, you can just bring it up. It brings it up to the top one as the most one selected. And again, this creates a backup, so that would create a backup in here for your, just in case you make a mistake, because mistakes do happen. And then just let's turn back to the editor, and then we go to the WND, which kind of sounds like what this game is about. And then as you can see, there's one option, load WND file. In your games directory, there is probably a folder called window. If there's not, you will need to extract the window 0hour.big. And you will get all these files that are called .wnd. You can typically edit them with a text editor. However, I decided to translate that text into a visual. And you're asking, what's the point? What is the Windows file? The Windows file is very simple. It is all the windows in the game. The game is built on layers. So for example, you might recognize this screen. All of these values are editable values. You can move them around the screen. This is a visual representation of the document, so you can see what it looks like. So for example, as you can see, there's a button right here that is not in the game. That's called button reset FPS. That's exactly what it sounds like. It resets this over here. There's another button over here that I'm pretty sure it's to reset your it's either your medals or it resets the statistics. And another example, just so we go into the thing. So here's your multiplayer load screen. You might recognize that. Here's the map. Here's your load progress. My personal favorite screen, General Select screen. Anybody? That's right. General 11, General 10. There is the China, GLA, and then USA. And I'll give you one more, because there's pretty much one other one you'll probably end up doing. And here's a certain, let's buy some sciences. And you can simultaneously go back and edit them too. For the record, you don't have to load the INI folder in the actual top slot. You can load any folder in there. any of the folders, even the data folder. You can load any folder in there. It's just this is how you edit the game. But as you can see, you can bring up the file. And so let's load up General's experience points. And we'll go back and we'll go General experience points. This is what it looks like. Like, what are you going to do with this? This translates into this. Right? Exactly. So if you edit the values in this document and you hit save, and then you go back here and reload it, this document will change. Cool, right? Alright, so on the left side of the screen right here, as we already played with, including the onboarding process, we have the open INI file, or rather open up INI folder, which is exactly what it sounds like. You just open up your INI folder to your project. Specifically, this is the top window here. This is only part that can be edited. You can only edit files in this specific window. This one is for review purposes only. Speaking of which, this is the load data folder. This is specifically to load the data folder of your games directory, and this is to allow the actual .big archives to be included in the actual reviewing process. And yes, you can access all the stuff, but I do have some of the things blocked off. For example, the maps, you can see the INI, but you can't see the .map file, for example. You can do the TGI though, but yeah, I forbid it to file. I need to enable them when I do the beta testing release. This is testing at the moment. But if we keep going down, it's open archive. So this will actually throw the archive into the top window. So that means you can extract it. I think, can you extract it from the bottom? Nope, you cannot extract them from the bottom. You can only extract them from the top window. And if we keep going down, we can create new big containers too. And I gave a little hint box right here to how you want to create it. So we're going to go with templates here. So what is the template of your actual archive you want to create? Is it just a bunch of INI files? Well, this is what the way your folder's configuration should be. So it should be your project's name, and then it should be data/INI, and then whatever, map images or object, for example. And that will guide you to make the properly formatted .big. Oh, we're not done yet. This is just the beginning. At the very end of the INI editor, I have an INI checker. This is currently in alpha testing. I don't know how accurate it is. I am still testing it, and I'm looking forward to feedback to see how this is helpful for you. However, in my about section, I do have a link for another INI checker. I totally recommend the use of that. It has been very helpful, but it might be a little bit complex to pay attention to, because it will literally tell you everything is wrong with your game, even like things that are not even like it matters. That's not wrong with your game. Like it's an error, but it doesn't matter. But still, the point is, that's everything in the INI editor. We are now going to go ahead and check out the string plus W3D reader. Essentially, this is meant to import the CSF file and convert it into an STR file, specifically because I read, and even my specific CSF file is corrupted, and there's a bunch of random gibberish at various parts in the game. And that happens. Apparently, if it gets too big, it gets corrupted. As what I read, I don't know how true that is. I don't know if it's just a random bug, but I do edit mine, and I read it was a specific size, and mine's about that size, but it was messed up before that, but who knows, I don't know. But anyway, I hear that the STR file is much more stable. So we have a STR file generator converting the CSF file. And additionally, if your CSF file is already corrupted, this will find those errors out for you. So for example, mine is corrupted. As you can see, oh, did I already fix it? Wait, there we go. So, as you can see in red, I have a bunch of corruption right here. Now you can choose to edit them here to fix them, or you can fix them after you save that. That's up to you, because this is a safe alternative, and that's the way it will show up in game, is those weird squares. That's the point. Additionally, secondary on this particular widget, I have a mode called W3D mode. It's exactly what it sounds like. You cannot edit W3D files. However, you can load W3D files to learn about them, to get the properties. Specifically, you can learn to get the bones and the textures. The textures is what creates the actual object, and it looks like I need to correct this because there should be DDS files too. There should not just be textures that are TGAs, unless I'm wrong, and that's the actual skin for it. But as you can see, there's a lot of bones in this particular unit. So there's a bunch of fire points, and there's house colors and smoke and treads. You know, there's a bunch of names in here that you can pay attention to. This right here comes in handy with the art if you want to play with the art in the INI file. Yeah, there's a bunch of things in there that you might have useful for your particular modding needs. Next, we're going to move on to the module maker, and specifically, so this part comes very in handy because, as you can see, it says load module tag file .txt. This is why it's important to have the official release, because it has these files. So this file will be loaded module tag .txt, and essentially you'll be able to search all the modules that are in the game. I don't know if this is a complete list, but it is pretty thorough. And you can search various ways. You can search all of them, just going down the list alphabetically, or you can go by category. So as you can see, for example, these are a bunch of W3D ones, so these are actually ones that end up like, these are in the art section, but you can, as you can see, there's a bunch of draw modules, so I have them separated like that, and a bunch of body modules. You know, they're just a bunch of names like that, and then I'm pretty sure these typically are module tag 2, by the way. And then we have the behavior modules, which is all the fun stuff, which is all the good stuff that are in the engineering and all that stuff. And you can just bring them up and essentially copy them. You know, you can create your own little version. So as for example, let's say stealth update. As you can see, there is a bunch of code here. Obviously, in the game, each unit does not have all this code, but you can take out bits of it, and you might need just little pieces of it. So just not to make it less scary, let's go something as special ability use. No, you're not going to use that one. Alright, so let's go to an easy one. We're going to use overcharge behavior. So this is actually the module tag that allows the China nuclear plants to use the overcharge feature, which has a penalty that inflicts damage on them. So this is the module tag for that. So you would just fill in the blanks essentially. So you obviously you would get rid of the brackets and all that stuff, and you would get rid of the text here, but then you would just fill in a percentage number. So you would put in a number here, and then you put a number there, and it's the health percentage, the drain per second, and it's not allowed to go below this percentage, so it's going to be X percent. So make sure you put the percentage number there, like the percentage sign. Next, we have Playground. Playground is exactly what it sounds like. It is the playground. This is going to be the fun stuff where you probably will spend all the time generating many of the codes that you will play with. But before we start, as you can see on the very bottom, I have Go to Editor and Go to Workshop. Additionally, I have the same thing there as Copy and Go to Workshop and Go to Editor. It's exactly what it sounds like. You pick this, you copy, bam, you go straight to the editor and you can go tack it in there. So it's if you had a command button you wanted to do and you're in Playground and you're in the core, we're going to open up core and we're going to go make a command button because we want to put the card up a bomb, and we want to go copy command button. We go to copy command button, go to editor, and bam, you can go right there. That's what that's about. But anyway, let's go to core. As you can see in core, we have, it starts opened with the command button and command set. So you can just scroll down. Remember I said load your data folder? This is why, because it will load all of your command buttons. So as you can see, I have been using my mod, so I have my command buttons installed right here. And if you load any data folder, so if I load in my private mod, all the command buttons for my private mod will also pop up here, not just my Yanis Syndicate mod. As you can see, the command buttons are right here. As you notice, you might see this question mark and you might think, hey, his game, or rather his program, might be a little broken. How dare he do that for his demonstration? That's very, very ungentlemanly. Like, that is very, nope, minus points. Actually, see right here where it says for cameo previews, load English or English 0hour.big via the OpenBig archive. And if I am not going to make a fool of myself, I can click any one and it should appear there. Oh, I guess it's broke. Alright, and so at the top, as you can see, I have the toggle for science and upgrade for similar things. You know, you can pull down whatever and modify as you see fit. And of course you can modify it here too. You know, you don't have to just modify it over there, but if you modify it up there, it will automatically update down here, as you can see. And it's right down here for special power. It's the same exact idea. I wonder why it's not over there, but it is. I'm pretty sure it does copy. Yeah, it does copy. You can copy it. It just is not appearing in the box at the moment. And then similarly, I have the similar setup for the other code. So this is the fxlist.ini, and this is the particle system, where the various particle system input you can, modify and all that stuff. Then the locomotor, similar thing like that. It has its own little thing for right now. I'll probably maybe pair it up with something else later. And you'll probably be spending quite a few times in the weapon and armor, making various weapons of various calibers. And then as you can see, you can add quite a bit there, and you can copy all the code over, and all that good stuff. And then last, and this one's actually pretty fun, is the audio, which is I have the sound effects INI, the voice, music, speech, and of course Eva by her lonesome. And at the very bottom, I have what I consider my most fun addition is the audio player, which is exactly what it sounds like. It scans all of the audio in the game, and you can, including in the big file.
General, the enemy has detected our presence in their main... General.
And you can play them. And then after that, we have Object Workshop, which is still work in progress, but essentially, when you can see on the right side of the screen, I have a little bit of a cheat sheet. These are the object in the game, so all of the objects, so like all of the buildings and the units, and these are all those things that you can just pop up in the game and just modify them and copy them over. And as I was saying with the cheat sheet over here, here's a little of a shortcut to remind you where the various code bits are in the reference points. For example, the select portrait, which is the very top button with the button image, is in data INI mapped images. Same with the cameos for the upgrades, because those are the actual images for the art in the game. Similarly, if you go down, I have a few templates that is currently not complete, but let's say if you created your own W3D unit, well, I have a infantry unit code that you can use real fast to insert that unit. Or let's say you had a vehicle, or a building, or an aircraft, or a helicopter. It's just a real quick dummy code that you could use to mock up your unit real fast, or even just a new unit, really. Any W3D you actually find. And then right below that, you can see how I have copy name to clipboard. This actually goes back to the playground section, and it will copy over any of the inputs of the various widgets. So if you have a science in the actual science widget up here, and you and let's say, so it's early carpet bomb for the science, and so let's say you need that over here. I hit that, and I put that right there. Let me hit some Control V, bam, right there. Yeah, like that. Just a little quick there. Then you obviously hit save as.ini, because these are new objects that you're saving. Or you can go copy the actual object code and go to the actual editor. And then this one is still work in progress also, but essentially this is allowing you to create. All you have to do is type in the name, and it will pre-fill in a lot of the code inputs for you. So for example, just typing in the name, I created science level 1, 2, and 3, which quite a few things have, for example, like airstrikes. Here is the special power input, which includes requiring the first science, which is the Yanis 1 science, right there. Additionally, the command button, which fires the special weapon Yanis, which is that right there. Additionally, the shortcut, the purchase science for level 1, 2, and 3. Additionally, here is and then here is the OCL module tag. So let's say you created the actual weapon. And while this is an OCL input for Super Weapon Yanis 1, I don't have the OCL input screen in yet, but that will be the next part I upgrade to the Powers Wizard. And that actually ends the showcase of showcase for Release Candidate 2 for General Zero Hour Modding Studio tool. I hope to see you around. Again, remember, in the link in the description, if you want to test out this tool, if you have any questions, comments, curiosities, or if you want to see any features or suggest any features, by all means drop a comment down. I will see if I can do what I can do. Who knows? We never know until we try, right? So hopefully I see you around, and when I get around to releasing this, I will be sure to make a video about that. And I will be releasing it to a mod database of all places, funnily enough, unless you have a better place to fill it out. But it'll probably be on GitHub at some point too. But yeah, anyway, see you around in the Discord and in the comment section. Thank you very much, and keep up the good work, Generals.